Hey, we're back. I'm joined by Stanley Chappell, Philip Lewicki, and Andy Denny, who just finished his Megaminx competition solves. So, Andy, how did you feel about your solves, and were you happy with your performance?
I wasn't really happy with it. It was a little slow, but it wasn't too bad. Considering I'm a little out of practice for Megaminx, it wasn't too bad. So I didn't embarrass myself, and that's kind of all you can ask for, right?
Right. So, you guys are all pretty good at Megaminx. What's something interesting about the event that you don't think the average cuber knows?
Hmm.
I think most
Um,
people think it's just 3x3 F2L over and over again, but that's really missing the beauty of the event. I mean,
right. You can get a
it's a
lot more
complex
creative with it.
for
Hmm.
sure, for sure.
That's what really differentiates it from 3x3. Is like you have a lot more freedom to solve the pieces, unlike you do in 3x3.
Hmm.
So, I'm a rather simple person, and when I do Megaminx, I do it intuitively, just like F2L in a very like static way, and I lose track of
Right.
pieces that I'm looking for because the puzzle is so big and the pieces are so small. Is there something? Is this something you get used to, or is there a particular technique for maintaining the vision of the pieces that are important to
So I think it's pretty important to know what pieces you're going to need to solve shortly,
you?
and if you catch a glimpse of those while you're solving something else, you kind of just keep that in mind and remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember where they are, and then once you're done solving it, you're ready to come back to it. You already know where it is.
And that's why there aren't really any top Megaminx solvers that are like color neutral for first star,
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
it would just be really difficult to look ahead if you had to constantly change like what pieces you were looking for, and all the top solvers use in order. Like I know Juan
Right.
Pablo, he'll do like the star and then he's color neutral on the S2L, but that's a lot easier because there are only a few pieces that could show up there, and it's kind of
Right.
a smaller area to search. But
Mm.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes with just doing a lot of solves. You'll kind of get used to the order. You'll kind of get used to seeing what colors go where and things like that. It mostly comes naturally.
mhm.
That makes sense. So Philip mentioned the beauty of the event, or was it Andy? Someone said the event was beautiful.
Yeah, I
So
think
That was Philip.
Megaminx is beautiful.
yeah,
Yes.
nice. So what do you find beautiful about it, and what are your favorite things about the
Well, I mean, it's just really satisfying when like all the like when I'm solving a Megaminx, I don't tend to feel very in control of what's happening. It's
Hmm.
usually just like the pieces are showing up and I'm getting lucky every time that I notice that they were there, and then I figured out a way to preserve them in a reasonable amount of time. It's a very chaotic experience, and I
Right.
find that very satisfying, and
Hmm.
especially when you get like decent times and your look ahead is pretty good, it's very satisfying. Especially like you get some of that in 3x3, and I'm sure like top big cube solvers get some of that too. But yeah, it's just the feeling of like finding novel solutions to problems. It's very satisfying.
Yeah, another thing I like about it is I feel like there are very few good mega mixers in the world. Like when you compare it to 3x3, I think a good mega mix solve is at least under 35, maybe even faster. Like you can
Hmm.
get down to 40 seconds with solves that are like nowhere near as fluid, nowhere near as perfect as say like a 7 second 3x3 solve is.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of room to improve for basically everyone except for Juan Pablo.
And even
Interesting.
he has a lot of room to improve, I think. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you can only name like maybe 4 or 5 actually good Megaminx solvers, and
Yeah.
everyone else is kind of making like a lot of mistakes in their solves. And
Yeah, like you can get good times with having a lot of errors and a lot of bad things about yourself.
but I think the only reason people even think those times are good, like 39, 38. These times are considered good, but it's only good because there aren't that many people who are actually good, you know?
Right. I agree.
That's
It's like
very interesting.
There's a
kind of a
lack of
sad-
elite.
It's a sad thought, but it's also encouraging because you always have room to improve, right?
Mhm. Interesting. I think I felt the same doing OH. Like when I was doing OH almost 10 years ago, I just turned really fast and everyone else didn't. So I kind of took advantage of the environment. But in your case, it's the chaos, right? And that people don't adapt to the chaos. Do you think people like Juan Pablo encounter as much chaos, or is he doing something differently?
It's an interesting question because when
Yeah.
I've looked at his solves, they seem very straightforward. And of course, his last layer skills are on another level compared to basically every other solver. So
For sure.
and his recognition speed is instant, and so yeah. What were you saying, Andy?
I think he just knows how to deal with the chaos
Yeah.
a lot better than everyone else does.
You're making this sound like a really cool event. So, if someone wants to pick up Megaminx, what's your best advice to get started?
Just solve it. Just do a lot of solves. Learn for look last layer. That'll take you really far, even though it's really not hard to learn.
Yeah, it's not that many algorithms. I mean, I've always thought it's like about 10 to 15 algorithms that you actually need to know. A lot of 3x3 transfers, and you'll be like as fast as Felix for last layer. So
right, faster than Philip.
Yeah, you'll be faster than me. So
that's funny.
Like I said,
Right,
there aren't that many actually good Megaminxers in the world.
Right, but you guys are what, like top 10, top 20?
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like,
yeah,
something like that. Yeah, I mean,
nice.
I think I'm 5th in the world for single right now. I don't know.
Yep.
But
pretty good.
Yeah, and the other part of
it,
don't fall into the trap of doing 3x3 F2L. That's why I didn't enjoy solving Mega for the longest time. I recently had a great awakening where I just started doing more like pair first solutions. Like I build a pair, I put in the other edge, and then just connect them, and it's always like consistently more efficient than doing a cross piece in a pair.
That's great advice. Yeah.
But 3x3 techniques are kind of where you start off at, and then you kind of just have to build off of that.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. Both for like actual solve quality, but also just quality of life and enjoyment. All right, so we're near the end of the segment. Sorry, guys. Is there anything you'd like to say to the audience before we head out?
Good luck.
Yeah, get destroyed by Max in 6x6.
It's gonna happen to all of us.
Do Megaminx because Max Park doesn't.
That's a good point.
Nice. That is a good point.
For now.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah. For now, right. All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me. This is actually really interesting and eye-opening. So thank you for educating me and the audience, and catch you guys later.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.